I'm Michelle, and I have a delightful mix recipe for your pantry today. Have you ever wondered if you could make a gourmet quality hot cocoa mix from basic ingredients that you probably already have on your shelf right now? Well, you can, and it doesn't require skim milk powder or artificial creamer. With homemade hot cocoa mix in your pantry, you or the kids can whip up an amazingly delicious mug of hot chocolate in the same amount of time it takes to use a run-of-the-mill store-bought packet. You control the ingredients, and the taste, oh, there's no comparison. I'm looking forward to sharing this fun recipe with you today, but first, let me welcome you to Chocolate Box Cottage. Hi, I'm Michelle. Thanks for stopping by for a visit today. I share useful, beautiful, and thrifty ideas and recipes like this one to help you create your own cozy cottage. If this sounds interesting to you, would you consider subscribing? Well, let's get into the kitchen and get started. I was blessed as a small girl to have a mom who made hot cocoa from scratch on the stove for my sister and me when we were growing up. It tasted so good, so much better than the envelopes that I tasted at my friends' houses. Well, my mom made it from scratch each time, but I took her recipe and turned it into a shelf-stable mix, so you can have all the convenience of that mix on your pantry shelf without the unwanted ingredients. The nice thing about homemade hot cocoa mix is that it is adaptable to your budget, dietary preferences, and your conscience. And I'll explain what that means as we go through the recipe. Our recipe today only calls for 4 ingredients, and I'll post it below in the description box. Sugar, unsweetened cocoa powder, salt, and vanilla. That's it. So let's start with sugar. You can use granulated sugar, powdered sugar, which is also called confectioner's sugar or icing sugar, or you can use coconut sugar or evaporated cane juice. If you choose to use regular granulated sugar, I recommend looking for cane sugar rather than generic sugar, which in the US is generally comes from genetically engineered sugar beets. So if you want to avoid genetically engineered foods, if that's important to you, one easy step you can take is simply to look for cane sugar, even if it's not organic. Today we're going to use whole cane sugar, and it has a tan color and a richer, almost malty aroma that's perfect for combining with chocolate. We need 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons of sugar. Our next ingredient is unsweetened cocoa powder. Now you might have a container of Hershey's cocoa powder in your cupboard for baking. If you do, use that. And next time you go to purchase, take a look at the cocoa aisle and look for the words fairly traded on the label. Fair trade means that the farmers who are growing the cocoa have good working conditions and are paid fair wages. It also prohibits forced child labor. So we're going to add 3/4 cup cocoa powder and a pinch of salt. Salt enhances sweetness and blocks bitterness, and we're going to use a mineral-rich salt today, which I just like to store in a teacup because it's so easy to use. Whisk those 3 ingredients together. Just takes a jiffy. And then our final ingredient is vanilla. Use what you have, of course. But next time you go to purchase, look for pure vanilla at the store. Or buy a few vanilla bean pods and make your own like I did here. So you'll notice I drizzled the vanilla over the top of the mixture instead of pouring it all in one spot. And then I'm using this whisk. You could also use a fork to distribute it evenly. Looks good. And we have just made homemade hot cocoa mix. It's that easy. Now, if you've been saving containers from items you've purchased, now's your chance to use one. Some of your options would include jam jars, coconut oil jars, canning jars, even pickle jars. Got a pickle jar right here that's a pretty nice looking one. If you are repurposing a container that's held something before, make sure to smell the lid. You want to avoid any other off odors or food odors that might be lingering there. Today we're just going to refill my canister that I keep in the cupboard, which happens to be a candle jar. So a wide mouth funnel is helpful here to
get everything going where it needs to go. And we just pour it in like that. And label it and add a lid. Since this is a container that I keep and refill, I got fancy and used my label printer. But a piece of masking tape would work just as well. And to make a mug of hot cocoa is so easy. Take 2½ tablespoons of your homemade hot cocoa mix and add it to a pan. Now, if you have one of these coffee scoops, an extra one around, you can actually just keep it right in the container and you've got a scoop that's ready to go because one rounded scoop equals the right amount. Add a cup of milk. I'm using organic milk from the grocery store today. Use whatever milk you normally use. Whisk it together and set it over medium-low heat.
In 2 to 3 minutes, you have steaming hot cocoa ready to drink. Now, milk does boil over easily, so keep an eye on it. It does not need to boil, it just needs to be hot enough to drink. And if you like a minty taste, feel free to add a little mint extract or peppermint to give it that flavor you like. Steaming hot. Smells good. With your own homemade hot cocoa mix, you're ready for the first snowfall, for decorating the Christmas tree, or for just a warm-up after cold chores outdoors. And remember, your homemade mix will make a lovely gift. What about putting together a gift basket like this one with a mug and saucer? You can even pick those up at a thrift store like I did. Tuck in a couple of candy canes and marshmallows along with your mix. It'll make a very welcome gift. Now, if someone you love can't eat chocolate, but you're looking for a nice gift for them, a warming, satisfying beverage similar to hot chocolate, you'll want to keep an eye out for my next video on how to make homemade carob cocoa mix. There's no chocolate involved, but it does have a couple of secret ingredients that make it taste fantastic. Well, thank you for joining me today in Chocolate Box Cottage. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to take a little bit of time and enjoy my hot chocolate and some toast and read one of my favorite books. I am looking forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye and God bless.